Okay, maybe it's fine when you get in there.
Okay. All right. Good evening to our wonderful guests who have decided to join us today. We are excited to bring you this session, Goal Setting for Entrepreneurs, brought to you by the DEC Network. My name is Jasmine Hillman. I am the Outreach Manager for the DEC at Redbird. So my responsibilities have a lot to do with community engagement as well as working with our college partners. Parkland College as well as UNT Dallas. And we are super excited to bring to you this particular session is one of my favorites. I feel like goal setting is something that you can apply to any area of your life. We have a very, very special guest here today by the name of Lou Jones. And this is my former colleague turned family. I'm so excited that he is here, so grateful for him to share his expertise in this particular area. So Lou and I, when we served together, we would serve in the Southern sector, and in that community, we would help individuals to advance their careers through our professional boot camps for career readiness. And so we would turn our classroom into a space of inspiration. So Lou would tackle the goal setting piece, and then I would come in with the vision board piece. And so it would take almost 2 hours. Now, we know we don't have 2 hours today. So, of course, we're going to shorten it for you all, but we're going to bring you the same energy. I will be managing the chat, so feel free to please put your questions there. If you all want to network and exchange information, you are free to. But I am so excited to introduce such a phenomenal motivational speaker. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Lou.
Well, thank you so much, Jasmine. It's definitely a pleasure to be here today. I am just excited to have this opportunity to share with everybody. And hey, as we jump into this, I want to encourage you guys to drop your questions in the chat. And at the end of the session, when I finish the presentation, we'll start answering your questions. And so feel free to do that. So I'm going to bring up my PowerPoint so we can start the presentation. So I'm excited and just, all right, here we go. So today, as you know, we're talking about goal setting for entrepreneurs. And I want to say goal setting for entrepreneurs and beyond, because goal setting can be done in any area of your life, not just that business idea or that idea you have in reference to a future business. And so, but I do want to set you up for success today by specifically talking about entrepreneurship and goal setting. But before we do that, let me just give you a quick brief introduction of myself. My name is Lou Jones. I am a family man. This is my wife, Ruth, my lovely bride. We've been married 5 years, and our soon to be 3-year-old son, Aiden. And he is the joy of my life. He definitely keeps me busy, running around, being 3 years old. And so this is my family. And now also, I want to share my contact information. If you ever have any questions or want to reach out to me, I can be found online at and on most social media sites at Lou Jones Inspires, because that's my mission in life, is to inspire people to reach their full potential. And so that's why I'm excited to be here today, because I plan to do that by helping you with goal setting. And so as we talk about goal setting, I want to share the session objectives today. First of all, we're going to talk about the benefits of goal setting. We're also going to talk about setting goals in 5 easy steps, okay? And that's called SMART goals. Many of you probably have heard of SMART goals before. We're going to definitely dive into that a little bit today, and I'll break that down for you. And then we're going to talk about creating your goal and action plan, because it's hard to get a goal accomplished if there's no action with it. So that's going to be our 3rd session objective. And then our 4th session objective, before we get to the Q&A portion today, we're going to talk about creative ways to execute on goal setting. And I want to encourage you to stick around as well, because I have a free gift I want to give you at the end of the presentation today. And so as we get into this, I start off every session with an affirmation or a motivational quote. And so today, I want to share a quote with you. It's my favorite quote on goals. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan, and a plan backed by actions makes your dreams come true. Oh, man, I love that. I love that quote. Notice, let's look at it a little bit. It says, a dream written down with a date becomes a goal. Okay. See, a lot of us have dreams, but it's like you got to wake up and take that dream off the pillow and put action to it, right? And you do that by setting a date to that particular goal. And then a goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. It's like if you have a destination, now you're going to chart that course, because and how you chart that course is with the steps you're going to take to accomplish that goal or get to that destination. And then lastly, a plan backed by action makes your dreams come true. And so as entrepreneurs, my prayer, my hope, my desire is that your dreams come true as you set goals for yourself. And so as we get into goal setting today, I want to give you a little history. About, a little over 10 years ago, actually in 2006, I started a particular new job. And on this job, they required us as employees to write out goals for ourselves as employees. And also they encouraged us to write out personal goals. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I hated it. I was like, why I can't just live my life? Why I can't just be me? And because I was like, I don't know my 2-year plan. I don't know my 5-year plan. I don't know what I'm going to do 6 months from now. Right. But after about 6 months, after about a year of writing these goals down and actually starting to see myself accomplish these goals, I recognized, man, there's something to this goal setting thing. I actually started to see myself make progress. And then I also started to feel good about these goals that I was accomplishing. And I realized goal setting was key. And so when it comes to goal setting, this is the definition of goal setting. Goal setting is the process of identifying something that you want to accomplish and establishing measurable goals and timeframes. Oh, that's awesome. You see, I'll give you an example. Okay, we're going to talk about entrepreneurship and I'll give you an entrepreneurship example, but let me give you a personal one. For example, let's just say you want to save $3,000. Okay. And you say, I want to have $3,000 saved in the next 6 months. So at the end of 6 months, I want to have $3,000 in a bank account. And let's call that bank account, that extra account that you open up, let's call it your emergency fund. Okay. Now, how do you get to that $3,000 in 6 months? Well, you have to break it down. Okay. Well, you divide 6 into 3,000, you have 500 a month you need to save, right? Let's just say you get paid. You get 2 paychecks a month. Well, you break that down, that's $250 per paycheck. And you take that and put that in that bank account. Now, how to make that a specific goal? Well, what you do is you make it automatic. It automatically is going into this new checking account or this new emergency fund to get to that goal. Well, when you take those steps and that action, you will reach your goal in 6 months. Okay. Now that's what a goal looks like. That's what goal setting looks like. Just to give you a quick example. Now, as we transition, I want you to understand, as entrepreneurs, I want you to be successful. I want you to accomplish those things that you want to accomplish. But guess what? Becoming a successful entrepreneur doesn't happen by accident. You must set goals and you must work at achieving them if you want to be successful. Now, if you're like me, I know a lot of people that are wannapreneurs. Okay. Maybe it's a side hustle or maybe it's a hobby. But if you really want to turn it into something that's real, you have to set goals. I encourage you to do that. And so as we get into this today, I want to talk about 6 benefits of goal setting. Okay. Now, when we talk about benefits, maybe some of us have had a rough 2020. Okay. So let's set ourselves up to have a better 2021. And we do that through goal setting. And so right here, 6 benefits of goal setting. Well, number 1 is create a sense of purpose. Oh man. Listen, goal setting creates a sense of purpose. When you write that goal down and you work at accomplishing it, it gives you a sense of purpose. The second benefit of goal setting is it helps drive motivation. Wow, man, it will motivate you when you sit down and look, hey, I'm getting closer and closer to my goal because you wrote it down and you're checking off the list as you get closer and closer to that particular goal. Another benefit of goal setting is it provides a measurement of progress. So you can see yourself at that time when I was on that job and I wasn't really feeling goal setting. But when I would go back and look and say, oh, wow, I'm about to reach this this goal. I'm about to make it happen. That left me feeling good. And it showed me I was making progress and I wasn't just out there flying blind. Okay. And the fourth thing, it will make you accountable. I encourage you to make yourself accountable to somebody else as well, somebody that will support you, okay, and not be looking at you kind of sideways like, you can't do that. No, you need somebody that's going to support you. So find somebody that you can be accountable to, and they'll check up with you later and see how you're doing on your goal. But I'll break that down for you a little bit more later in this session. The fifth thing and the fifth benefit of goal setting, it reduces stress. When you find yourself accomplishing your goal, oh man, it just helps you de-stress because you know you're headed in the right direction. And the last benefit I want to share with you is it gives you a sense of personal satisfaction. All right. There's nothing like it. But here's the thing. I need you to step out, set those goals, and get out your comfort zone. Okay. I need you to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. And, you know, it's like this. If you believe in yourself, there is nothing that can stop you. So know that there's something on the inside of you that is greater than any obstacle. So if you believe in yourself, you're going to overcome those hurdles. You're going to overcome those obstacles, but you have to do it. You have to write it down and go after it. All right. So when we talk about goal setting, I want you to do something real quick. Let's do something. I want you to drop in the chat what your actual goal is, okay? Whether it's a business or whether it's a personal goal, go ahead and do that. I want to take a peek at some of your goals that you might have. So come on, be brave, drop them in the chat. Let me see what some of those goals are, all right? And so let's see here. Now, thank you for coming back, Jasmine. Let's see, anybody dropping any chats, any particular goals in the chat? Let's see one or two of them, and then we'll continue with our presentation.
I don't see any just yet.
Uh-oh, come on, step out, y'all. Whether it's an entrepreneurship goal, a business you want to create, or a personal goal, all right? Anything you want to drop in there would be great, okay? So let's say somebody wants to create a business. I want to have a business. Okay, is that specific enough? Oh, maybe it's a hair salon. Here we go. Okay, so if it's a hair salon, that is what we call a SMART goal. So our second objective today is to talk about SMART goals. And so back in the presentation here, I want to show you something, because when it comes to setting goals, you have to make sure it's a SMART goal. What is a SMART goal? Well, a SMART goal SMART is an acronym, and it stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. Okay. And so that's the type of goal that you want to set. All right. It's time-based. And so, Jasmine, I'm good now. We'll just continue on.
Got it.
Thank you so much. So here's the deal. Okay, now I see. Listen, I know you guys have goals, but I want to help you obtain those goals. I want to help you step into those goals. But in order to do that, we have to make sure they're SMART goals. All right. So here's 5 easy steps to accomplishing your goals. And I say I'm going to set it up in the sense of a SMART goal. And we're going to give you an example of this. As a matter of fact, back in 2012, when I was going on with my life, I had did a website for a church. I had maintained a church website for years. I had built my own personal website. Now, I didn't think of it as a business. It's just something I was doing as a volunteer. Well, I had a friend come along and he said, "Lou, I have a pastor friend with the church that needs a website." And I was like, "I don't do websites." But he saw something in me. I didn't see it. He said, "Just talk to her, talk to the church, see what they need." I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it." Now, I knew how to build websites, but I never thought of it like a business. It was a talent I had. It was a gift I had, but I never thought it would turn into a business. So I went and I sat and met with this pastor, and I said to her, "You know what? I'll build your website." And she said, "Okay." And now, be honest with you guys, I didn't know how it was going to come out. So I said, "I'll do it for free." Okay. I'll just be a blessing this time. And in return, she said, well, what do you want in return? I said, hey, I'm trying to get out in public speaking and minister in different places. You have pastor friends, can you do that? Can you let your circle know? And she said, I could do that. And that's what happened. I built their website, and she also put my name out there, and I was able to speak. But here's the thing, guys, that was something that I didn't know I had in me. I just kind of fell into it. Okay. So the smartest thing I ever did for my business was to start it before I felt like I was ready. And some of you that may be the same thing for you. And so when we talk about a SMART goal, I want to break it down for you. And I'm going to use my website business as an example, because you got to understand where your focus goes, your energy flows. And so you need to be specific with that particular goal that you have. Your goal must be clear and well defined. If you are vague, you may not know when it is done. It is much easier to be held accountable to a specific goal. Now, I'm going to give you an example of that because I want to help you see with this first step of having, of goal setting. The first step, and here's my example. It says, I will create a website company called Let's Go Web Design versus I will build websites. Hold on. You see, like that salon example earlier, is one thing to say, I just want to start a business. It's another thing to say, hey, I want to start a specific business called Let's Go Web Design. Understand, I was designing and building websites before I had an online presence, before I had an LLC. Okay. I was just doing it as a volunteer, and then it turned into something. But I needed to write it down. It needed to be specific. And so that's the first thing you need to do with your goals. The second thing you need to do is make sure it's measurable. You need to track and quantify your progress. Be sure you have met you've met your own expectations. Link it to a key performance indicator so that you can measure your degree of success. How will I know when it is accomplished? I knew I had a legit business when I was getting paid for it. Okay. And here's the example. It's like, for example, I will have a website representing my brand, and I am using paid ads to market my company online. And I have new clients that are finding me and buying my services. You see, that's a key performance indicator. People are finding me and they are buying my services. That's when I know I'm headed, and I'm headed in the right direction, and I'm having a degree of success. So it's measurable. Okay. And that's what I had to have when it came to having specific goals in reference to my business. The third step is make sure it's attainable. Okay. Make sure that it is possible to achieve the goal you set. Your goal should stretch you, but it should also be achievable, right? Now, if you have that thing on your heart, you may not know exactly how to get it done, but you know it's possible. You don't have to know everything in the beginning. You just have to write it down and then start researching. And whether it's watching YouTube videos, when I first started building websites, I learned by watching YouTube videos. Okay. I didn't know how to do it, but I learned because I was self-taught. Or you can go to school for it, right? But then you have to start putting into practice. So make sure it's attainable. An example of this is I will have a fully branded website, social media, paid advertising company online by Friday this week. Hold on. Versus I will have a fully branded website by January 1st, 2021. Okay. Now, what do you mean by attainable? Can I have all that by this Friday, this week? If I'm going to throw something together and it's not going to be done in excellence, why rush it? No, I want it to be done in excellence. And the reason why it was needed, guys, is because my business was growing before it was an online presence, before I had a website, before I had a LLC, because of word of mouth. And so what ended up happening was when people would reach out to me, hey, send me your prices. Matter of fact, where's your website? I didn't have it. So I knew I needed to turn it into something, but I needed to set goals to get that done, because I was not only building people's websites, I had to build my own. So it was going to take me some time. So was it attainable to do it within a week? No, not if I wanted to do it in excellence. So I had to give myself some time to build it out. And that's why if you have a goal, set a deadline to it. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But I said, this is attainable if I give myself 2.5 months. Let's just say if it was now and I was doing it, I'll have it ready by the first of this year. Okay. So that's what I mean by attainable. Can you actually do it? And step number 4, is it relevant? Is it relevant to you? A relevant goal matters to you. It is related to what you are doing in your life. Ensuring your goals are relevant will keep you on track and not get you distracted by what others think your success might look like. Oh, I got to give you an example of this because, so look at this example. Becoming a owner of a website company is relevant because for many years, I had maintained church websites as a volunteer. I had recently started getting paid to build websites for others. So having an actual website business made total sense for me versus I'm going to join the Army. What? Hold on. How many people you meet and every month they got a different business idea? Okay. How relevant is it to them? Well, I know for me, because I goal set every December going into the new year, these are my goals for the year. So when people come to me with all these ideas, because they see me having success in other areas, hey, can you come and help me sell this? Can you become a part of my downline? Now, I'm not against those type of businesses, but I know they're not for me. Why? Because I have goals set for my life and I know it doesn't line up with that. And so when you have a different idea every other month, do you really have your ideas and your goals set down? But I want to encourage you to set your goals according to the gifts you have, according to the talents you have. That's why for me, versus if somebody approached me and say, hey, won't you join the Army? Nope. First of all, I'm 45 years old. I'm not in my 20s. And what I look like joining the Army at this stage in my life, right? I know that goal is not for me. So it's because it doesn't matter to me. It's not relevant to me. Now, I love people in uniform. I respect people in uniform, but that particular goal is not for me. Maybe when I was in my 20s. But when it comes to having a website company, yes, because that's something I do and I'm passionate about. The 5th goal is this. It needs to be time-based. It must have a timeline and a deadline. So when I was building out my website company, yes, I had clients, but I wanted to build out the professional side of it, the website, the social medias, going and get the LLC. I needed a phone number. I needed just, not just my personal phone number. So I got a Google phone number, a little hint for people out there, you had to get a whole extra cell phone. And, I needed an email address. So it took time to build those things out. So put yourself under a little pressure. Simply answer, when will it be done? You are much more likely to make consistent progress if you have a deadline, as well as accountability partner. And so that's goal setting. You really want to have these steps wrote out, and you want to make sure you're going after them every single week. Okay. Now, I'll tell you something. A goal without a plan is just a wish. My friends, I'll say it again. A goal without a plan is just a wish. And so listen, you want your goals to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. That's goal setting, right? And when you have it in that structure, what'll be on the other side of your goals is the manifestation of what you had planned. And what was it for me? It was having a fully branded website company. And this is just a few screenshots of my website, my social media branding, my Instagram, Twitter accounts. So because I want people to find me online and I needed to have that professional presence. Now, I'm not focused on that business as much as I was years ago. Right now, I'm just maintaining old clients and I'm more focused on public speaking and motivating like what I'm doing now. But that's the manifestation of that goal and actually setting goals for myself. And so going back to our objectives, the 3rd objective for today is creating your goal and action plan. So we're going to take Q&A in just a moment. So I would encourage you even right now to drop your questions in the chat and we'll do Q&A in a moment. But once again, we said a dream written down with a date becomes a goal. And a goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. And a plan backed by action makes your dreams come true. So this is the part I want to talk about now, okay, is writing the goal down and having action follow that goal, okay? Because I want you to write your goals and make your dreams so clear that your fears become irrelevant. Because I know it can be scary stepping out and doing something new. But if you write it down, you make it clear, and then you can work at accomplishing those. And I want to help you do that. And so I have this sheet here I want to share with you. And this particular sheet, I call it my SMART goal sheet. It's a table. I want to encourage you right now to take a screenshot of this document here, because I'm going to break it down for you. But if you insert your goal into this document, it will help you really break it down and accomplish it. So take a screenshot of it, take a picture of it. Let's go through it real quick. And then I'm going to show you an example of this document filled out. So notice it says here, my SMART goal is. So what is that SMART goal? So you write that there, that specific goal. It has a name. My to-do list today. What can I do today? Challenges to achieving this goal are, so you list that there, and you got to be honest with yourself, okay? And then my action steps to overcome my challenges and achieve this goal are, and then also I will monitor my daily progress by, notice I have here, my accountability partner or partners is, so who is that one or two people that you need to be accountable to in reference to this goal? Okay, we're not on no island by ourselves. You have to have accountability in this life to get things done. Because if you leave it up to yourself and your emotions, listen, goals don't care how you feel. So one day you might go after it, 1 week you might not. You got to have accountability. And then I will discuss my goal progress with my accountability partners on what is that date. Select a date in the near future. And then lastly, celebrate your success. When you reach that goal, you need to celebrate. All right. Write down what you will do when you reach that goal. Is it going out and having dinner at a fancy restaurant, something you normally wouldn't do? Celebrate your success, whatever it may be. Okay. So now I'm going to give you an example of this broken down. Now, earlier, I shared with you an example of entrepreneurship. Now I want to give you a personal goal. And I use myself in this example because, we're talking about goal setting for entrepreneurs and beyond. So let's just use a personal example in this one. For example, my goal was to exercise. Well, exercise is not specific. Okay. So I had to get specific. And that is attend Camp Gladiator 3 times a week. Now, for those who are not familiar with that, it's a boot camp style workout right outside, and depending on what state you're in, you may have seen people running around outside, working out. Well, that's what I attend. All I have to do is show up there and the trainer will tell me what to do for 60 minutes when it pertains to a workout. All I got to do is show up. So here's my to-do list. All right. I got to set my alarm clock. Like, what does that have to do with it? Yeah, I got to set an alarm clock to remind me to go work out. I have to lay out my workout clothes. I have to find a location to attend. So maybe for you is to go to a gym, a LA Fitness or a YMCA. You have to, I had to be specific. Challenges to achieving this goal are not going to bed on time. Hold on, Lou. What does that have to do with anything? Well, because the workout I go to is 4:30 in the morning. I know y'all like, what? It's nothing like working out that early. Okay. I love it. Right. So I can't be a night owl. Right. So that's why I have to go to bed at a decent time. And then another thing that will be a challenge is not having accountability. And so what are my action steps to overcome these challenges and then start achieving this goal? Go to bed at a decent time. I know y'all like, that's so simple, Lou. You have to be real with yourself. Okay. And then also I tell my wife, I'm going to work out in the morning. So when that alarm clock goes off at 4:00 and I don't get out the bed, I get that elbow. Okay. So because I'm accountable. And how will I monitor my daily progress? I'll select specific days to go work out. And then I'll also use my workout app. Who are my accountability partners? Like I mentioned, my wife, Ruth, my trainer, Julie, what my trainer do, she'll take a picture of everybody at the boot camp. At the end of the boot camp, she'll take a picture of everybody and post it on Facebook in our group. And then she'll draw a little stick figure and say, where is Lou if I don't show up? That's accountability, right? And then another person is my accountability partner is my workout partner, Alex. He will text me before the workout starts. Hey, I'll see you in 15 minutes, right? Or he'll text me later that day and say, where were you? Accountability really helps you get your goals accomplished and stay committed to your goal. I will discuss my goal progress with my partners on what date. So normally every Saturday, every week, my wife will say to me, how many times did you work out this week? I'll say, I only worked out twice. She said, okay, what do we have to do to get to 3 times? I say, okay, that's accountability. And then lastly, what am I going to do to celebrate my success? In 3 months of being consistent at working out 3 times a week, I'm going to reward myself with a brand new gym bag that costs $80. I'm not just going to buy it just because I want to buy it. No, I'm going to earn it. Okay, that's how I'm going to reward myself. And if I'm really consistent in 6 months, I'm going to buy me a weight vest that's $350. Like, I know they're a lot cheaper, but this weight you can adjust. That's the reward for myself. And so, guys, I want you to use this as you set your goals, because really that's going to help you achieve those things. Listen, staying quiet about your goals is not going to help get it done. You have to be accountable to somebody. And when you write it down, it's really going to set you up for success, because there is no magic formula to you achieving your goals, but to just do it. Now, focus on the destination, not the difficulties along the way. Okay. So before you doubt it, just do it. All right. So I want to encourage you along those lines. Now, remember I said that there are some creative ways you can accomplish your goals. Well, one of the things me and my wife do is every December we sit down and we have a session where we write out our goals for the next year. And so what I want to bless you guys with, the free gift for you guys today, is this goal setting sheet. So if you go to the Bentley link there, it's Bentley/goal setting 2021. So there's no catch. You just go and you just download this document. And when me and my wife, we set goals in 9 different areas. And so you can use this for your personal self, or you can use this for your business as well. This is more for our personal self. So I just want to give it to you guys. Notice we have an area for finances, what type of financial goals we have, what type of health goals we have. If you're single, or single, family, goals for your family, married life, goals for married life. Spiritual growth, and you can change the wording on any of this if you like. It's a Word document. Charitable service for us is volunteering in the church, or it might be going and passing out turkeys with Thanksgiving coming up. We write that down because we want to accomplish that. Personal growth / education. Some of you are in school right now, and so write that down. I want to have my degree in this. Or maybe it's taking a certification or something like that. We write that down. Relationships. How do I want to better my relationships? Or mentorship. I write that down. Work, career. Maybe I want to get a promotion. Maybe I want to find a better paying job. Write that down. And then entrepreneurship. What areas do you have for goals there? And then we have a section for other. So I encourage you to download this, and let's zoom in on this sheet here where it says goals with action steps. So at the bottom of that sheet, really what you have to do is you have to have action steps to go along with those goals. So for example, maybe one of your financial goals, like we mentioned earlier, was to save $3,000 in 6 months. So the action steps is to deposit $250 per paycheck into a particular account. And you do that for 6 months, and bam, you'll reach your goal, right? And so I want to encourage you guys to use this to help you write out your goals and get your 2021 started off with a bang. All right. And we talk about creative ways to do your goals. And so before I take Q&A, I want to show you 2 creative things my wife and I do every few years when it comes to setting goals. And so sometimes we like to make our goals visual. Okay. And many of you know this is a vision board. And so this is the latest vision board I created. So this is my wife's vision board is below her, and mine's is below me here. And every few years, we'll create a vision board to go along with our goals or just to inspire us in some way. And so I'm gonna break down my vision board for you real quick before we switch over to Q&A. This particular section here is dedicated to me being a family man. Together we win. That's me and my wife, raising kids. We have one, we're believing for another. That portion of my vision board inspires me to continue to focus on being a great husband and a great father. The middle of the particular vision board, this is for my motivational speaking and preaching. So when I look at this section every few days, I look at it, it inspires me to keep pushing, to keep driving, to expand in my speaking career. Now, you could do a vision board on any subject and you can have anything on there, but that's this is how I have mine sectioned off. And then the last section is just my life in general. I want to live my best life. And so every time I look at this section, whether it's the clothes I wear, whether it's the thoughts I think, this section encourages me to live life with purpose. And so that's a vision board. I want to encourage you guys to create that for your business, create that for your life as well, because it really will continue to inspire you to achieve your goals. And one last creative piece I want to show you, because me and my wife, like I said, we're visual people. And so we moved into a house about 3 years ago. And after a year living in the house, we said, you know what, we want to pay our house off in 3 years. And so we decided to create a Jones house payoff. Okay. And this hangs right in our home. And every time we make $1,000 payment on the principal, we put a paid sticker on a house. Okay. And so that motivates us and encourages us to continue to focus on paying our mortgage off, because we want to be totally debt free. And the only debt we have is our mortgage. And so for us, we're like, it's time to pay this thing off, because we know that's the next step outside of real estate and investing to becoming a millionaire. So we want to get the house paid off and save on all that interest. So our goal is to pay it off in 15 years or less. And so by seeing this on the wall, it keeps us motivated to get the job done. And so that's it, guys. I want to end with my favorite quote from my favorite motivational speaker of all times, and that's Les Brown. Because, guys, you can achieve your goals. And Les Brown says this. He says, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. So get started on your goals. And I want to thank you for your time today. I want to thank you for an opportunity to speak to you and help you set yourselves up for success and achieve your goals. And so I'm going to turn it back over to Jasmine now as we take Q&A.
Wow, Lou, thank you so much. I feel like I was pushed right back into that classroom environment with you that, where I would see you going for like 90 plus minutes on this topic. You did phenomenal. I feel like I learned so much, even though I've seen you do this time and time again. It's just such a refresher. And so I definitely want to give you all opportunity to put your questions in the chat box. And while you're typing, Lou, I will ask you a question of my own. So when it comes to SMART goals, based off of your experience and what you've seen, what do you feel like the one SMART goal that people struggle with the most?
Wow. I really think it could be, let's say if it's finances, when it pertains to finances, sometimes if you don't have specific steps, anything can distract you. Anything can get you, there's a great sale. Okay, now you didn't took that money and spent it on something. Mm-hmm. Well, that's why one of the things I said when it comes to saving that $3,000, if that's a goal, you have to earmark that particular account and call it emergency fund. And what I mean by that is, because I'm very passionate about finances as well. What I mean by that is, if it's not an emergency, I can't touch it. So unless the car break down or my baby boy break his arm or something, God forbid, but that's the only reason I would touch that fund. Is not for the latest sale, or is not for, I want my weighted vest, I'm gonna use that money. No, I'm gonna set another goal to save up $350. Or maybe I'll take a website client, even though I'm not taking any clients right now. Let me be clear on that, even though I use that as an example. focusing on my speaking career. But maybe actually a few months ago, I did take a client because, you know what, I said, I wouldn't mind having a couple extra $1,000 in my pocket. So I could take that money and apply that to something that I want, but not my normal everyday money. And so I think for people, when it comes to goal setting, we really have to not be afraid and write our goals down.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this: don't decrease the goal, increase the effort.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find yourself not hitting the goals that you want, increase the distraction.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. That was really helpful. It also, I think about too, people that have that hard time meeting deadlines, right? Because when you write it down, it feels final. You put a date on it, it comes up on you quickly, and so when we think about deadlines, how have you been able to avoid continuing to push those deadlines back when they're like coming so fast?
I'll give you an example. Me wanting to do more motivational speaking, and my heart is young people, young adults. Back in February, I was talking to a 15-year-old teenager, and I asked him, I said, hey, I want to make YouTube videos, but what do teenagers want to hear about?
Mm-hmm.
And he said relationships and friendship. I was like, okay, I know that. Okay. And so he said, but you should do it on TikTok. I said, Tick a who? Like, what? What's that? And he said, no, let me show you. So he pulls out his phone. He shows me TikTok. And I'm like, oh, I'm familiar with this. Yeah, okay. And he said, this is where we are. And he said, these are the motivational people, or these are the preachers I follow on TikTok. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now I'm like, the video can only be 60 seconds or less.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, let me see. Okay. So after about a week, I took his suggestion and I said, I'm going to give this TikTok a try. But I put a deadline on it. I said, I'm going to give it 90 days. And if it doesn't turn into something in 90 days, let me add this to it. I said, I'm going to make a video every day. I said, if I call myself a so-called preacher, a so-called motivational speaker, I can at least make a 60-second video every day to motivate and inspire in some way. And so I started, and I said I was going to do it 5 days a week. That really turned into 7 days a week. And I found myself 60 days later, I had did 60 plus videos. I was dropping sometimes 2 videos. You saw me when we worked together on lunch break. I was doing a video, And I put my all into it. And 60 days later, I found myself with 10,000 followers.
Wow.
90 days later, I found myself with 20,000 followers. And today I'm approaching, I think, 95,000 followers.
That's awesome.
And that's because I was consistent. And I started this back in February, but I also had that deadline. So if nothing came of it in that 90 days, I wasn't going to continue to put that type of energy into it, because I needed to really take that energy and put into something else. And YouTube was already proven. And so I kind of just kicked YouTube to the curb and focused on TikTok. Okay. But now I have the proof of it all this time later. So.
Awesome. Well, we have some very shy guests because we have no questions, shockingly. But what I will say is that everyone absolutely loves your presentation. So what I keep seeing consistently is that people want copies of this presentation. Is there a way for them to contact you using I know you put up your information before that has, your email. Is there a way for our audience to email you and get a copy of, the breakdown of the SMART goals?
Absolutely. They can email me. They can go to my website, loujones.com. They can contact me through that, or they can email me at lou@loujones.com.
Do you want to share that slide?
Yes, I'll share.
Perfect. So we're going to share that slide. Sorry, I'm getting... Okay.
There it is, right?
Wait a minute, Lou.
What's that?
Okay, we have some real questions. I was looking all in the wrong place.
Oh, okay.
They are
forgive
here.
Me, I didn't close my blinds, so the sun is shining in my face. So forgive me on that.
It's okay.
All right, so we got questions. So here's my contact information, guys. Take a screenshot of that, and then we'll jump right into your questions.
Okay, so I'll start with, so I have one question. Any tips for pivoting and prioritizing goals?
Ooh, that is great. That's a great question. So, see, I'm trying to dodge the light. Step into the light, Clarice. Step into the light. No. So, so hey, you gotta have fun when you're doing this, right?
Got
So,
to.
man, okay. So, give me that question again.
Okay, do you have any tips for pivoting and prioritizing goals? For example, I made goal A, but halfway in, I realized that I actually needed to accomplish goal B first in order to finish goal A.
Oh, then change. Your goals are not, you're not locked in. Okay. You
Mhm.
know, to make progress, you have to change with the way the day flows. That's the great thing about setting writing your goals down. Okay. A lot of people say they got things in their head, but it needs to be wrote down. Same when
Absolutely.
it comes to financial goals. Have that thing wrote down because things will come along and change it. But if you have it wrote down, you know the destination you need to go to.
Mhm.
You're just going to, maybe you take a pit stop for a second, but you're still heading in the right direction. So
Right.
yes, stop on that one part, focus on that next part, and it's like a piece of the puzzle. It will all come together as long as you know the direction you're headed. So yeah, you have to pivot. You have to pivot.
Mhm.
That's life. Okay. That is life. Okay. For example, when I started my website business back then, I wasn't thinking about creating a LLC and all those different things. I was like, what I need that for? People paying me. But one
Yep.
of my mentors said, no, you want to be legit. You need to do this, and you're going to have some tax purposes at the end of the year. So you want to make sure you can have this thing, with taxes and all that. I said, okay. So I did that, and it wasn't easy with the LLC. I mean, it's a little different today. You can just go online, do. But I had to go to a particular here. I had to go a location here. I had to go over here. I had to do the same thing when I came to Dallas. And so, yes, you just pivot. And you may, delay it a little bit, but that's okay as long as you're making progress.
Sure. And what about, so this is kind of similar question. Any recommendations on how to prioritize those goals and not get burned out?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. Thank you for asking that because it happens all the time. Maybe you're like myself or like my wife. Okay. My wife she's just completed her first book. Okay. Now she has ghostwritten over 15 books for other people, but never for herself. So I encouraged her and pushed her over the last 5 years to get her own book done. Well, she finally completed it and sent it to the editor. Well, what does she have to do? Now life is staring her in the face. She has a full-time job. We have a child. She's a wife as well. So there's multiple things coming at you at the same time.
Mhm.
And so it's like you just have to adjust and take, a step at a time, but make sure breathe for a moment. It's I know you want to get that thing done overnight, but it may take time. Like, yeah, I wanted all my branding to be done in a couple of days, but I knew when I did do that, it was going to take a while. So you have to give yourself time. Now, you don't want to give yourself too much time where you're not serious, but you have to give yourself enough time to actually work at getting the thing accomplished without burning yourself out and learn how to
Mhm.
take breaks. Okay. That's another thing I want to say too. I don't know who this is for, but some of us, we really need to learn how to take a real vacation. And I don't mean
Sure.
going and visiting relatives. No, go to an island somewhere. Go to a resort. Okay. Me and my wife went to a resort a month ago. Yes, in the middle of a pandemic, we went to a resort. Now it was only 20% capacity, believe it or not. So it was no one there, but we went. We knew that going into it, but we still took time to relax and rejuvenate to get ready for the next thing we had on our plate.
Awesome. One more question we have. Really good question. What are your thoughts around removing the daily whirlwind that gets in the way of reaching your ultimate goal?
Yeah. Ooh, it reminds me of remember on Facebook when they used to have when you could change your relationship status and it says it's complicated. That's what that reminds me of. You
Mhm.
have to decrease the clutter in your life, right? You have to get organized. And sometimes, for me, you have to find that window when you have the time to work on that goal. Okay. So for me, when my son is in the bed and sleep by 9:30 and I've already had dinner, that's the time I'm stepping into my office 9:30 to midnight to work on my goal. Or what I'm really trying to do, because I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and work out, I'm like, if I'm doing that 3 days a week, those other 2 days, maybe I can get up at 5
Mhm.
and have a good 2 hours, 2.5 hours before my son wakes up and work on my purpose for 2 hours. So you have to choose. And guess what? There's no one disturbing me at night that late or that early in the morning. Something has to give in order for you to reach your full potential. Okay. And I'm going to give a real life example. In 2018, when I decided to build my speaking career and really try to step into, speaking and doing, YouTube videos and getting my name out there, guess what was getting in my way? I'm getting comfortable now. I was, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm a grown man, but I was playing Xbox every night to de-stress, to relax. After I spend a little time with my wife and maybe we'll watch a TV show, she goes to bed by 10 o'clock. I'm on a video game from 10 to 12, relaxing. But I knew those were the 2 hours I needed to work on my purpose. So something had to give. So starting 2018, I no longer play video games. Now I know, like, but you're a grown man. Listen, everybody has a thing. Maybe yours is wrong. Okay. But mine was playing video games. There's nothing wrong with it, but it was getting in the way of my purpose. So I want to make that clear. Because we all have extra time. You cannot convince me we don't have the time. No, we're just not organized enough, or we're not willing to make the sacrifice. So I made the sacrifice and gave up playing Xbox to focus on my purpose. And 2 years later, I'm so much further along. And I told my wife, even jokingly, a couple of days ago, that I was going to probably go back to playing Xbox. And she said, really? I said, no, not until my speaking career is really full time. She said, oh. I said, no, I'm not going back. It is not in my system anymore. I am not paying to play Xbox, right? So I give that as an example because we have the time. We just maybe have to find the time or sacrifice to get it done. Because I truly want who's ever listening to this to reach your fullest potential, but there's maybe some things that have to get sacrificed. And that's another thing. There may be some relationships that got to get cut because they're not supportive of you as well. Or you might have to make it very clear, this is my goal. This is what I want to do. I need you to have my back. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to help you, but they just can support you with words or encouragement. And that's what we're here for as well. So I'll be your biggest cheerleader if you want me to. So,
Lou, I literally think I'm going to make you my accountability partner officially, because you were just like so on top of it with these goals. That was just so awesome. Like, I'm reading the comments, and everyone it seems like they gleaned a lot from this presentation, and just the wisdom that you've been able to share with us today. And again, I want to give you an opportunity to share that slide with your information, and those who are watching, our audience, our guests, thank you, number one, for coming out and for staying with us. Hopefully, it's been exciting. We brought enough energy, but please take down Lou's information. I know a lot of you mentioned that you definitely want a copy of this presentation. So feel free to reach out to him, and he'll be happy to send that out to each of you. I definitely want to thank my team at the DEC. Thank you so much for being so supportive and just coming together and helping us to bring this amazing presentation and session to our emergent entrepreneurs. And then I want to thank our college partners as well for collaborating, Paul Quinn College and UNT Dallas. You guys are awesome. And I just look forward to the next session that we have. And I want to thank Lou again. And, hopefully we can bring you back for something else, that's a great fit. We would love to just see you share your thoughts and knowledge in this space with us. And I know you are such an amazing entrepreneur. So I know you have just so much that you can pour into us, but thank you for your time. Tell Ruth and Aiden, thank you for sharing you with us. And thank you all. I hope you all have a great night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.